Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. So this is one of these properties that comes across my desk, and I'm genuinely sort of surprised that we're able to buy something this nice at the type of prices that we typically purchase at. This property is in a subdivision we have purchased in once before. It's a really nice subdivision in a really picturesque area. It's surrounded by a lot of gorgeous views. You can kind of see it here in the photo. You'll see more of it in the photo gallery below. But additionally, there's some nice amenities out here. As you can see in the headline, underground utilities is one of them, as well as just the fact that this property sits within close proximity to a lot of nice outdoor features, most notably Abiquiu Lake. So I really like this one. I think you guys will too. And with that said, let's get to it. This is, reference number RANM-0002. It's located in Arriba County in the northern part of the state. It's 3.24 acres in the Indian Ridge Estate subdivision, and these 3.24 acres are priced affordably at $9,000. So, as with all of our properties, come back down here, click on any one of these GPS coordinates. It's going to bring it up here on the Google Maps. So, this specific property is sandwiched between Hunter and Cactus off of Indian Ridge Boulevard. It occupies all of this real estate here. I would like to tell you, if you went to Google Maps, you'll see the plat overlay here. Unfortunately, you don't. The eastern boundary of the property is roughly like this. If you'd like a better sense of that, and who wouldn't, come down here to the gallery and you'll see our Google Earth representation of the property size, shape, and location. Point being, it's a healthy chunk of land. It's got nice road access, road frontage along 3 sides, and it's in a really nice area. Let's go back to the map, show you more of that. So, as noted, we have purchased here once before. We had 15 acres up here about 2 years ago. And if you scan the Google Maps here, you're going to see, number one, you're going to see some structures out here, some nice homes that are in this region, people living out here. It's not a densely developed area. There's not, hundreds of homes. But the ones that are out here are pretty nice. You can also see a little bit of these in the photo gallery. So one of the things I just want to point out to anybody who's looking at this, if you're this far into the video, I should just make you guys aware, this is an excellent property for single-family residential, and the way the zoning and the covenants are out there, it pretty much demands that it be single-family residential. So this isn't a good place if you have some sort of commercial interest, a business that you want to put out there. It's not going to work. Additionally, this is not really a property you can use just solely as a recreation property. This is not something you can use to camp on or live out of a school bus 6 or 8 months of the year. This is a good property for a second home, summer home, Airbnb, place to retire, things like that. Particularly if you're going to build something that, as I like to say, conforms to the aesthetic, uniformity of the region. So if you're looking to build a nice house in northern New Mexico somewhere, this would be a good place for that. If you're looking at the other things, even something like a tiny home would probably be out of the question for land like this. So just FYI. Now, that being said, if you are looking to build something like this land offers a lot of great features, so let's get back to talking about those. Let's show you where this is in the grand scheme of life. So right over here is Abiquiu Lake. This property sits, measure distance, roughly about 12, 13 miles as the crow flies, maybe a 15-minute drive along the 84 out here to Abiquiu Lake. So it's a good boat property. If you own a boat, you can take it out there. If you don't own a boat, of course, you can rent one out there. You can rent jet skis, kayaks, so on and so forth. But good opportunity for that, as well as you're also within close proximity to the El Vado and Heron Lakes up here, also in Arriba County, as well as, the Navajo Marina, second largest body of water, and very nice marina up here in nearby San Juan County. So it's going to be a good property for water recreation type things, if you own a boat, even if you don't. Additionally, you've got the Sierra Negro Mountains over here close by, offer some excellent views. I'm going to get into that in the photo gallery in a bit, but just trust me on that one. As well as Plaza Blanca is over here. Plaza Blanca, of course, is this really idiosyncratic region with sandstone, rocks, cliffs, formations, and it was one of the things that inspired Georgia O'Keeffe to, paint and to live up here and to situate herself up here, which is why the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum is up here as well. But this is an area that she depicted quite a bit in her artwork. We'll get back to that as well. And of course, the property is not just good in the spring and summertime, it's also good in the winter. because you are within very close proximity to the Taos Ski Valley. Of course, some of the best skiing in America is over there. And if we measure distance, you can see that this is roughly, whatever, 45 miles as the crow flies, maybe hour 20, something like that, to drive out there. But you've got a lot of nice stuff surrounding this property. Quick thing before I get to the photo gallery, I just want to show you guys. A lot of times I will say to buyers, yes, if you're going to buy this property, if you're going to give us this amount of money, please go out, scout these things in advance, make sure that you're aware of what you're buying, blah, blah, blah. This is one, however, where you can't really eyeball it on the map. I mean, I guess you could try. So I'm just going to say, if you do want to go out and scout this property, 2 easy ways to do it. Hello. Come up here, click any one of these GPS coordinates on your smartphone. When you're driving out there, your smartphone should give you turn-by-turn directions out to the property. Or, if you'd like, you can click on the directions button over here on Google Maps, enter your start point, whether that's your home or the hotel you're staying at when you're visiting the region, and you should get turn-by-turn directions down here. You can print those out, take them with you. As noted, this isn't necessarily one that you can eyeball, but if you kind of zoom in here, you can see the Pedernal is one of the main access routes. And if you follow this back, out here, it leads out to the 142, and the 142 leads up to the highway. So, if you want, you could try that. By the way, I forgot to mention, take note, the property also sits within close proximity to the Rio Chama River. I think it's roughly about a mile and a half from the river, at least from this point of the river. Of course, Rio Chama drains out of the Lake Abiquiu, but it's an excellent spot for fishing. Of course, it's known for its walleye, its smallmouth bass, and it's rainbow and brown trout. I don't know if this is the best spot to fish on the river. Maybe that's, another 10 miles away. But the point is you're going to have easy access to that as well from this property. All right, let's go back to the photo gallery for a second. So the first 3 shots here, you're going to get a sense of the property itself, the drone shots here. Number 1, you can see some of these magnificent views that you have off here in the distance, but more to the point, what you're going to see is the property is a nice, flat, buildable terrain. This is not something that's too rocky, it's not too hilly, it doesn't have too many slopes to it. Additionally, there's no arroyos cutting through it, so it's a nice, flat, buildable piece of land. Additionally, because you have the underground utilities out there, you can kind of see them right here in this one shot. It's going to make it a lot easier to build on the property. And, of course, again, here you can see reiterated some of these really nice views that you have. As we go through this, you're going to also get a sense of the roads out here. This is a combination of this, dirt gravel type road that's always sort of well manicured, well taken care of. So any vehicle type is going to be able to traverse these roads. Additionally, here you can see this is one of the underground utility boxes, serviced by the Jemez Mountains Electric Co-op. We've got their contact information in the table above, within the property information up above. So if you do want to reach out to them, ask them questions about what that's going to cost to get hooked up or the logistics involved in it, it's best to direct those questions to them. Anyway, but the point is you're in a region out here where you've got power, you've got phone lines, you've got good road access, nice flat buildable land, and really pretty views. So I would encourage you guys, take a look at this photo gallery, scroll through this. Additionally, we're going to have the drone video of the property right below the photo gallery. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you'll be able to watch that and get an even better sense of the property, the terrain, and the surroundings. I should say, I've had my photographer out there once before. Even when he takes photos that are half as good as these, it's still a really, really pretty area. You can still make out that it's really picturesque out here. Kind of get a sense of it here. I would also like to point out in these photos, you can kind of see what some of the neighbors' houses look like out here. Earlier when I was talking about the, this aesthetic uniformity, here we go, see more of this. What I see out here are just nice single-family residential homes. Now, this, of course, is important because I'm going to talk about zoning and I'm going to talk about covenants in just a second. But I do want to show you guys some of these mountain views. Really, really pretty. This is what you buy this land, you live out here, this is what you're going to wake up to and go to sleep with. It's going to be the last things you see before you go to sleep. This is it's really pretty. Anyway, all right, let's go up to covenants and restrictions. So, this area is zoned rural residential. That is Rio Arriba's sort of catch-all zoning designation for everything in the county. County sort of defers to the developer when the developer comes in, builds a subdivision, and creates covenants and restrictions that go with the land, which is what these are. Essentially, they sort of create their own zoning rules. So basically, if you come here and click on these CCRs, it's going to bring up these. These are the Indian Ridge Estates covenants and restrictions. Now, I want to make you guys aware that if this were part of a homeowners association or a property owners association, which it is not, I repeat, it is not, then there would be somebody who monitors these things. These covenants and restrictions would be very much alive and enforced to this day, 50 plus years after they were first written. This, however, is one of these subdivisions where I believe the developer is out of business, and these things are probably not forced in as strict a manner as you would think from reading these things. So some of these are obvious good neighbor type things, but if you go over these, I just kind of want to review them here and make you aware of them. So the first one just has to do with making sure that the property is used only for residential use, not for commercial use. The second one, this is kind of odd. I've never seen one like this before, but it has to do with not living out of a temporary structure, not having a temporary structure on the property. And typically when you're building in any one of these places, you always have the ability to, hey, I'm building the real house. I need to live out of something else, a tent or an RV or whatever. This one seems to prohibit that. Now, that being said, is anyone enforcing that? I doubt it. Number one. Number two, I think it's more a situation where if you're building responsibly, if you're not making too much noise, if you're being a good neighbor, nobody's ever going to say anything to you about the 6 or 7 months that you're living out of a trailer on the property. So something to keep in mind. Additionally, number 4 has to do with livestock. Dogs and cats and parrots. I'm choking. Dogs and cats and parrots are okay, but things like cows and horses, I guess, are not. Kind of surprising in a rural county like this, but that is the 4th one that you need to be aware of. Point number 5 has to do with minimum square footage. This is the one that I think rules out tiny houses, depending on your definition of tiny. Number 6 just has to do with setbacks from the road. That one's just kind of obvious. Points 7, 8, and 9, however, have to do with an architectural control committee. So a lot of times these developers will come in and they'll say that houses have to conform to certain standards within the region. My guess is no one is still enforcing this. That's every time I ever see covenants like this that were written 50 plus years ago, the developer went out of business, nobody enforces this. That being said, if you come back here to Google Maps and you look at the homes that are in this region, there's a certain, as I have noted, aesthetic uniformity. So my guess is as long as you're building a single family residential home that's respectable looking and up to code and whatnot, nobody's really going to say anything to you. That's my guess. If you want to dig into that more before you give us $9,000, please do. I'd encourage it. But every time I ever see covenants like this, particularly anything that references any sort of architectural control committee, if it's in one of these subdivisions where, there's no homeowners association, typically nobody's enforcing that. So, point number 10, all permanent structures commenced on any lot must be completed within 6 months from the date of construction. That seems a bit rigid, 6 months to build a house. I think the greater takeaway from that here is just be a good neighbor. If you start to build a house, please finish it. Don't leave an eyesore on the land for 5 years. Don't bring down everybody's property values. That being said, if it takes you 8 months to finish the house, does that mean somebody's going to come around and fine you or something or sue you? No. So yeah. Anyway, the rest of these have to do with wells and septic and things like that, and just conforming to state rules. Blah, blah, blah. There's really only about 2 or 3 pages of these, but I encourage you to read them over. And if you do have questions about these, reach out to County Planning and Zoning and direct those questions to them. Just want to point out to you guys some links that we have here in the table, some things that I've referenced. Just go back over these. Planning and Zoning link down here, Jemez Mountain Electric Co-op. If you have questions for them. Additionally, if you want to get a well drilled on the property, you're going to want to talk to the Office of the State Engineer. Got some helpful links down here for those, as well as just some websites for things that I referenced, such as the Abiquiu Lake Recreation Area, Georgia O'Keeffe Museum, the other lakes, as well as Plaza Blanca. And by the way, I said I was going to talk about this. I didn't do this, but if you click on this link, it's going to bring up this website. This is Plaza Blanca. This is what this region looks like out here. As I said, these idiosyncratic sandstone formations. Mesmerizing view is going to offer a lot of great opportunities for, just hiking, camping, and trails and whatnot, and just sightseeing, photography, etc. But that is what this region looks like out here if you weren't previously familiar with it. Anyway, with all that said, let's just talk about how to purchase this property. So, the property is priced at $9,000. We're asking for an earnest money deposit of $500. I just want to explain that for the uninitiated. This is not financing. This is not $500 down and then $100 a month. This is, we want a buyer who has all $9,000. But we don't ask you for $9,000 at checkout. All we ask you for is $500, and then we'll let you tell us how you want to fund the rest of this transaction. If you want to close through title and escrow, that's fine with us. Or if you just want to pay the rest on another credit card, that's fine with us as well. But the point is, all we ask for up front is $500, and we'll work the rest out in the days ahead. By the way, guys, if you do want to purchase this property and you don't want to close through title and escrow, we're going to expect you to fund the rest of this within like 96 hours. And I give it 96 hours because sometimes people can't charge more than $2,000 on a credit card in 24-hour periods, so you need to break these up over 2 or 3 days. That's fine. But occasionally I do get people who give me $500. They don't have the $9,000, and then they kind of try to string you along for the next month of their life while they try to get this money that they're never going to get. So please don't do that. Anyway, if you do have the $9,000, click the Buy Now button. It's going to bring up this secure checkout page. As noted, we'll ask for the $500 down. We'll ask for some questions, legal name on deed, tax address, etc. Agree to the terms and conditions, click next, and on the next page you can enter credit or debit card information to put down that $500 deposit. By the way, guys, quick thing, if you do want to close through title and escrow, that's fine with us. I would highly recommend you come to our How It Works Buying From Us page, and this will kind of break down what that process looks like, how that process works. So come down here, read about title escrow closing, and what goes into that. And here we'll have a copy of our standard sale purchase agreement. If you click on this, you can see what this looks like. This is a very straightforward one page for signatures type of thing. But basically you sign it, we submit it to the title company, and we let them do the rest. And they will not request the remainder of the funds until such a time as they are ready to close the transaction. It's usually a couple weeks later. And we cannot touch your money until such a time as the property has been deeded into your name. So those are two advantages here. The third one, of course, is that you'll get title insurance through the title company. I should also have you guys know this property, we closed on this with New Mexico Land and Title. Property was insured and closed on with New Mexico Land and Title. So it's written here, but we're going to make it its own bullet point. I just noticed that. Anyway, point being, we already have title insurance on this. We'll be conveying the property to you with a warranty deed. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. 17 minutes of me talking. I appreciate it. If you have any further questions, leave a comment here on the YouTube. Shoot us an email, support@hemingwayland.com, or give us a call, 702-919-7170. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.